This is it. The all-new Acura NSX is finally here at the 2015 Detroit Auto Show, and it looks dynamite. This car, which was primarily designed, engineered, and will be built here in the United States, will start around $150,000 when it hits the market late this year. The NSX is powered by a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 mounted amidships, backed by a 9-speed dual-clutch automated transmission. The NSX also features no less than 3 electric motors, 2 at the front and 1 at the rear, all designed to increase overall performance, handling, and braking. Total system horsepower for the car will be north of 550 horsepower, and the benchmark for the NSX was the Ferrari 458 Italia. So that will tell you where this car is about from a performance and a handling perspective. But much like the Acura NSX 25 years ago that set the world on fire, this car is also about accessible, human-centric performance. The NSX from the outside looks low, lean, and mean, with all manner of air vents and aero features designed to increase cooling, aid airflow, and downforce. Inside, the NSX is also, again, human-centric, designed to reward the driver from behind the cockpit. Hey, I'm here with John Norman, the lead interior designer for the Acura NSX. John, so this was a 3-year project basically for you?
Yeah.
Why don't you take us through some of the key elements of the interior here?
Our main theme was to try and push the IP down as low as we could and make the pillars as thin as we could to make sure that we retain that exceptional packaging that was so intrinsic to why the original NSX was so good. Right. So that car revolutionized exotic car packaging. Basically, it was the first user-friendly supercar that you could sit in, get in and out, and see out of, and drive comfortably, and especially at high speed. And so we wanted to make sure we kept that from the original car to this one. That was very, very important. So we tried to minimize all the volume of the IP, pushed it down, pushed it low, brought this ultra high strength steel that allows us to create this ultra thin pillar, but it's also very strong. We have the airbags in here. And so that's the packaging side of it. So I think when you fit in it, you sit in the car, you can see that definitely it's low, right? It's wide, it's all the things that you expect in a supercar, but it still feels comfortable, right?
I feel really comfortable here. It's very nice.
Which is why that was our theme. We had the theme was a human support cockpit. So even though it was a supercar, we wanted to make sure that you could fit in it, and then you could drive in it, and you'd want to stay in it, because there's some of the cars in this class, and they're amazing, beautiful cars, and they're so exciting to drive, but maybe after half an hour, you're just worn out, and you're just like, you've had enough, right? So we want to have a little bit more of a long-term relationship between the driver and the vehicle in this car, where you get in and you want to stay in, and you want to maybe go on that longer drive.
It looks very no nonsense in here, not a lot of bells, whistles, buttons. I'm assuming that was by design?
Yeah, that was by design. We wanted to keep the focus on the driver, right? It wasn't about creating some sort of crazy styling motif or having some look at me feature. It was all about that synergy between man and machine.
Tell us about the materials.
Well, so the materials, it's going to be an expensive car, right? They said it was in the mid 150s, so we wanted to make sure that even though it's a sports car, we realized that there has to be some luxury element. So the whole IP that you can see here is wrapped in these beautiful leather panels that are stitched and are going to be handcrafted. You can see that on the IP, also on the door. On the lower, we have the suede, which is, of course, shows a really sporty, aggressive image. Now the center here, and this is one of the more unique elements of the car here. So you see that these metallic elements right here. These is actually the IP frame. Typically that's hidden, it's not a very attractive part, it's kind of buried deep inside the IP, but we actually brought it forward, and so it's actually structural. Actually some of these parts here are hanging off of this, and these parts are basically mounted on top. And we wanted to do that to create this almost this naked superbike, really lightweight sports aesthetic, right? So this is probably one of the, maybe a little bit more the flamboyant part of the interior, because the rest of it's very straightforward.
Okay. Well, John, thanks so much for taking us through it. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
it.